In today's video, we're going to take a look at some of what I consider to be some of the world's most underrated Funko Pops. What makes an underrated pop? Well, I guess it's quite a subjective thing ultimately, but personally it's a pop that I look at within my collection and think, why is there not more noise about it? The detailing, or is it a better pop than perhaps people give it credit for, and should it have a better standing in the whole pop game? For this video, we're going to take a look at 5 different pops, 4 of which are standard size common pops, and we've got 1 2-pack, all of which in my mind should be a lot more up the popularity ladder than they actually are. So the 5 pops in question, currently at the time of recording, have a value on the Funko app of just over £50. So the first pop we're going to look at for world's most underrated pops is the OG Mary Poppins. Now, number 51, the Julie Andrews version of Mary Poppins. Now this is a pop that's kind of languishing around the sort of £10, sort of £8 value mark. Never really had any massive spike in value compared to a lot of the other original Disney pops. It's not vaulted as yet as far as I'm aware, but you can see it's part of a line of pops where when you look on the back there, you can see we've got a number of pops that have really jumped, likes of Jafar. We've also got Russell from Up in there as well, and the Rocketeer as well carries a little bit of value. So there are a few from this particular line. Unfortunately, my Mary Poppins does have a few little dings and dents, unfortunately, but what can you do? So as an inbox collector, that's not ideal by any stretch of the imagination, but displays well from the front. The great thing with this particular pop is it's exactly what you'd expect a Mary Poppins pop to look like. She has her parrot-handled umbrella in her hand, and it's a very good likeness of the original Mary Poppins film. So the next pop-up, when I was a little one, sort of around the age of around 10 years old, one of my favourite cartoons that was on the television was Thundercats, as I'm sure it will have been for a number of people of my generation. But the poor relation of the Thundercats family in terms of Funko is very much Tigra, or Tigra, depending on how you pronounce it. This is the one pop out of the entire Thundercats range that has carried no value whatsoever. I love it because it's part of my childhood. It's very much part of the nostalgia of having a Thundercats pop. But the speciality series 573 Tigra, it's just really considered a very mundane entry-level pop. Not like the Lion-Os, the Mumras, the Snarfs, the Panthros, the Chitaras, all of which have carried some kind of value. Admittedly, not every pop from a line can have that grail status, but this one, again, languishing below retail value, and just hasn't really caught any interest in people. But as you can see, he's got his bolo whip in his hand, as you'd expect from the character. The detailing's pretty cool, but ultimately it's very much similar to the rest of the line. So the third pop from the world's most underrated pops, according to me and my collection, of course, is a 2-pack from the Marvel Collector's Corp. But this was from the original run when they were available to subscribe to in the UK, and it's the 2-pack of Bullseye and Daredevil. The reason I've picked this particular pop is twofold, really. 1, it's a great pop, and 2, it's the only representations of these two characters in these forms that currently exist. But this is the only pop currently available of Bullseye. So it does surprise me that this one really, again, this is valuing at around about £8, I believe, at the time of recording. But it's a fantastic 2-pack, as many of them were from the original Collector Corps range. Really detailed. One of the first as well, one of the first that had the flight stand. You can see the elevation in the Daredevil character there jumping down on Bullseye. And that's the artwork on the back there. Obviously just a single sheet art on the back, as is the case with a lot of the Marvel Collector Corps boxes. But for me, this is a real standout 2-pack. In terms of the Marvel 2-packs, this was a run of Collector Corps boxes that were really cool, actually. We had a number of 2-packs. We had the Captain America and Iron Man 2-pack as part of that as well. But this one, I personally think, should be held in a lot higher regard than it is. The 4th pop we are going to look at today, I think, is a bit of a trailblazing pop in terms of its detailing. Now, many pops that you see now have blast effect detailing with them, have sort of various different artistic flair added to them. The glow in the dark effects, and the moulds have changed significantly from the very standard Funko pose that we used to get. This is one of my favourite pops. It's one of my pops I've had for probably about 18 months in the collection, maybe even 2 years now, in fairness. Still one of my favourites to this day. and I think it was one of the molds that really it broke the mold in terms of its appearance, and that is from The Incredibles 2, the 2019 Spring Convention exclusive Void. It's a fantastically detailed pop. As I say, you've got the Void power effect that she uses throughout the film, and that was this is one of the first pops I saw that used this additional effect with the additional molds that went around the character as well. Now, if you look across the My Hero Academia range, the Dragon Ball Z range, even the Marvel range, a lot of these detailings have been added to them now. The sort of molding effects that really help lift the actual pop itself, and because of that, I think it's a massively underrated pop. It's a great looking figure. I mean, like I say, the colouring on it is fantastic. It was a sort of a landmark pop in many respects. Don't know for sure if it was the very first pop that utilised the additional effects. Please mention in the comments if that's the case, but it was certainly one of the first ones I'd been exposed to, and it was a must-have in the collection, and it's a fantastically well-detailed pop. So, last but not least, when you get pops, there's a number of reasons why pops catch fire. Pops could be limited edition, they could have special sort of design quirks, they could have faults like the Mandalorian chrome, sort of part chrome, full chrome ones that have released recently, or they could just be part of a really iconic film, TV series, music, whatever the fandom might be. But one TV show that just hasn't got any kind of grails is one of the biggest in modern times, and that's Lost. Now, Lost for me was and is and still remains one of my favourite TV programmes of all time. Yes, the ending was quite polarising. Yes, many of the fans weren't satisfied, but that has been the case with Game of Thrones. There was people that weren't satisfied with Breaking Bad and lots of other TV series. So if you look at Game of Thrones, you look at Breaking Bad, there are serious grails that can be collected from those series. Not the case with Lost. Now, admittedly, it's not a huge range of pops. I believe there's only about 6 in the entire range. We've got Sawyer, we've got Jack, John Locke, Kate, the Man in Black, the Man in White, or Jacob, and this particular pop, and that's Hurley. Hugo Hurley Reyes. Now, for me, far and away the best pop of the Lost line by some distance. The detailing is fantastic. He stood there holding his Apollo chocolate bar, which again's a big feature of the program. The Apollo chocolate bar is one of those little sort of fan features that a lot of people familiar with the TV show will know. 418, a really great representation of the character. A lot of people often comment that human-based pops don't really cut it. Certainly not the case with this one. I mean, he's a larger-than-life character, and I think all of those aspects of him do come out from this particular pop. There he is in his shorts, his very dour t-shirt. He's got his Apollo chocolate bar in hand, and he's got that big lovable face that everybody got used to in the show. On the reverse, as you can see, the full range. So we've got the Man in Black, Jacob, Hurley Hugo Reyes, John Locke, Jack Shepherd, Kate Austin, and Sawyer James Ford. It's not a particularly big line, but none of these pops, and many of which you can still find in sort of the $5, £5 sort of bargain bins sort of up and down the country, across the world. But if any of these are ever going to catch any sort of grail type status, it's got to be this one for me. But I do appreciate Lost is a polarising show, but it's one that I love. And do you know what? It's one of my favourite pops. It's just a really cool pop. I always like to get the odd pop from various fandoms that I've enjoyed either as a kid, or I've got 1 or 2 Breaking Bad pops, but none of the grails. But this one, for me, this one deserves far better status than what it's ever received to date. What do you think? Now, I must stress, I don't collect for value. I collect because I pick up pops that I enjoy and I like, but a number of people out there do. But I find it very interesting that they don't get as much love and as much hype as I think they deserve. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Do you have any pops that you think that are really overlooked, underrated, if you will? Let us know. Drop us a line in the comments. I say, let us know in the comments what have been underrated pops that you have, or pops that you've picked up that you've not realised until you've opened them and had a look at them, just how cool a pop they actually are. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you very much for all the support to date. But for now, thanks for watching. Bye bye.